Hi all. Right, welcome to Normandy, the beginning and the end, using the Alone in the Storm solo expansion. About to start scenario 2, German counter-attack. So I've been messing about with things today, trying to get it ready. Um, I had an absolute nightmare. I tried to go through all the counters again, and I got these little boxes. I've got a big tray over there. That's one of the deep DVG ones. It's got a lot of the intel markers and the lights and that, but there's that many counters in this game. So I had bought some of these. These are great. I get them at Home Bargains in the UK, and you get 4 of these for £1.50. So 4 of them, and they hold quite a lot of counters. I mean, the problem is you can put all these counters in these, but will they all fit in the box? I think there's a possibility I might be able to get everything fitted in the box, because it's not just one box we're talking about here. I can store them, and they've got the Alone in the Storm box and the Normandy box. But when I put that deep tray in, and I've filled at the moment, like that's 1, 2. Okay, they're not completely filled. I've not completely. There's another 3 that are filled anyway, on top of these 2 that I'm just showing you, that are over there. But organising these counters, I looked at that Order of Battle thing again, and I'll tell you what, it doesn't match up for me. I can't find all the counters. It says that there's so many here. I found another Order of Battle thing on the files section, titled in Spanish, but it's all got a list of everything in English. But even looking at them, I can't work it all out. I actually don't know if I've got the Kickstarter stuff or not, because the ones in the file section, I think, regarding the Kickstarter stuff, I just can't really fathom it all out. So I'm just having to put the counters the way I think. Now, to be honest, I'm not really having any issues with finding the counters, because scenario 1 was straightforward. Well, once I worked out what counters to go and look for, and this one it was similar as well to find things. So I'm just going to have to sort of organise them the way I think. But it's not very well set out, and unless it's just me, to work out where everything should be and what everything stands for and that. It's not easy anyway. Okay, so German counterattack scenario 2. So brings a few other things into the game. After sort of realising that I should have played with all the rules, because the solo system really wants you to be playing with all the rules, we're going to do that. So there's going to be assaults. There is, I want to say, a couple of sort of vehicle things in this, so that might bring in some things, and there might be some artillery fire. Maybe not anti-tank fire, but I think there'll be some artillery fire anyway. So that'll be a bit different. Are there any other things? Because if you stop, officer coordination, I'm going to bring that in as well. Make sure we do that. I think it was, because it stops you before section 2, doesn't it? Yes, you stop there. So it brings in basically heavy weapon platoons, how they move and attack, off-board artillery, which I don't think we're going to have. Transport platoons, so how to mount and limber things, we might see some of that. And then coordination of officers, and section 3 is where assault is, but I'm going to bring that in as well. I mean, it does tell you to stop up then and try scenario 2, but I'm going to, but it's all built into this whole rules. So we've got close assault and all the different assaults that you can have. So we're going to have them in as well. Cavalry charges, then it gets you to stop again. Then it starts talking about AFVs, which are armoured fighting vehicles. I eventually realised what it meant. Armoured fighting vehicles. I think that's a standard sort of abbreviation for that. And then section 5's got obstacles and that. None of these are going to come into it, but if they happen to somehow, I'll be using that. Section 6 is air support and battalions, special platoons, battalions, and then that's it really. So I don't think any of that will come in. But the main one being assault rules and maybe some vehicle stuff. So yeah. And I think with finishing up on the previous part. I'm not quite finishing it. I did realise that some things were starting to come together. So that's maybe why I thought, let's have another go at this and try it. So, German counter-attack. Right, let's read the little introduction there. So, historical introduction. July 11th, 1944, Le Désert, 12 kilometres, northwest of Saint-Lô, France. Once the German defensives are set west of Saint-Lô, and the Vire River is reinforced thanks to the arrival of the Panzer Wehr Division, Rommel immediately starts planning a counter-offensive in an attempt to throw the Allies back and halt their advance, or perhaps even put them on the defensive. The HQ staff of the US 9th Infantry Division believes the manoeuvre to be a ruse, with the real objective being a tactical withdrawal. However, the Germans carry out a counter-attack. Okay, so that's what's happening here. Now, these are the forces involved. So we've got the order of battle. We've got the American 39th and 47th Infantry Regiments, which are comprised of... and this is infantry. This is three infantry platoons, so one infantry officer. So there's that times two. So there's two sets of them. Then there's also an officer with 3 infantry platoons and a M1919A4 machine gun platoon. And then I assume this last one to have to be a heavy weapons officer. It doesn't really state it clear here, but these, I mean, it talks about it there in the heavy weapons company. So they've got an M1919A4 machine gun as well. You can see that one's a 6.3 rather than the 3.3 with the infantry platoons there. And then 181mm M1 mortar and 157mm M1 anti-tank. And that's got a truck in brackets, so because there was some that were, I think there's some that are mechanised and some that are motorised. So that's his truck, and that, I think it means motorised. So I think I've got the right ones for that. They start in their mappage is to the west, so that's that. I'll show you the units in a minute. And then the Germans, well, again, I'm going to use the intel markers, so it's not necessarily going to comprise these. But however, it shows you how to do that in the solo booklet, the campaign, no, what's it called? The solo scenarios booklet, I think. Their German map edge is east. So you can see they're meant to be the 901st Panzer Grenadier Regiment. I mean, there it's got it as one officer, 3 times Panzer Grenadiers that are in trucks, and 1 times MG42 in a truck, times 3. And then 2 of the 8.3 Panzer Grenadier MG42s, 1 GRW34 mortar, I think that must be, and then 2 times 155mm FH18 artillery, and they've got wagon on it. So you can see these are all mobile, these, and it fixes that in the solo part as well. So just finishing off looking at this now, this can run 8 turns. It's using map D, and there's the orientation of the map, which I've got set out. Now, so victory conditions. It says the German player must clean the main road from D800 to D817 and take control of the bridges in D901, 1208, 1410 and 915, as well as the town in 804 and 805. American platoons positioned adjacent to the hexes along the main road may not fight, i.e. they must be marked as routed. Oh, okay. I clearly hadn't read through this. The American platoons positioned adjacent to the hexes along the main road may not fight, i.e. they must be marked as routed. Okay. I'm a bit confused there. It says the American player wins if any of the above conditions are not met by the German side. Okay. Some special rules. We've got river on map D is considered a minor river. Okay, that matters to certain things, movement and things. Special rules, American player deploys first, which I've done, although I was possibly going to adjust something. But reading this little bit here is making me wonder. Americans are caught by surprise, thus the first 3 turns, the Allies are treated as green troops. So I'll need to find a way, well, can I not get one of the counters that have, that's morale, where's the one, there. Try and put this little green marker somewhere, maybe on the turn track, I think. Maybe that'll just remind me. It says the German player is the attacker and is the only one activating units during first turn. So the only one activating units during the first turn, it means we can't do anything on the first turn, I think. And then we've got the aftermath, which I won't read. Okay. So this is from the, what is it called again, this book? Alone in the Storm. Adapted Historical Scenarios. So we're going to be playing the AITS. This is the AI again. So it says notes, rush. Hang on. Yeah, rush 4, sorry. I was thinking it was a minus there, but no, so rush 4, so it's the same start. Factions all available. Okay. Not quite sure what the relevance there is, but anyway. And it says forces marked with an asterisk should be deployed first. And then for rush resistance calculations, count each bridge and town hex as 1 victory point. The main road counts as 2 victory points except for the already mentioned hexes. The main road counts as 2 victory points except for the already mentioned hexes. Right, I'm not sure. It means the whole main road. Main road counts as 2 victory points, except for the already mentioned hexes. And the already mentioned hexes, the bridges and the town, I'm assuming, because they're counting for 1. But the main road, does that mean every main road hex counts as 2 victory points? It's sort of, well, I'm going to have to find out that one anyway. Okay, well, I mean, there's no mention of that. Of course, this is a solo thing. This is just to find out victory points and whatever. Okay, well, we'll see. I'm not liking the look of some of the things that I'm coming across here already. It get me scratching my head already. So there's the historical mode, and that's what we're not going to use. We're going to use the open mode, right? So it comprises of an infantry A plus a motor / mechanised counter, times 3 if you like. So there's another infantry A, another infantry A, and then the fourth intel marker is going to be a mortar plus motor mechanised, and the fifth one is an ATRA plus motor mechanised. And it shows you they all deploy in the same hex, so they're coming onto the road. You'll see the road, the hex in a minute. D800 is the start of the road on the German side of the map. So that one is asterisk, which says should be deployed first. So it has to be this one it has to be one of these infantry A's that deploy first. So that's turn 1. We'll deploy that, and I'll just activate that and start moving it down the road, and then these will then all follow behind. Yeah, that's that. So, right. First off, I'll go and see if I can find some information on these victory points, and also what was it in the main rules? Yeah, the American platoons positioned adjacent to the hexes along the main road may not fight. I.e. they must be marked as routed. That's adjacent. I'm a bit confused by all this. Well, let's look at the map anyway. Right, so there's a setup, and it tells you there, it says a non-fitted machine gun company deploys in 509 and adjacent. 509 is up here. Now, these comprise of 3 infantry platoons. So I've got them all in the one hex, but I did wonder about maybe having one adjacent. But remember, you can have 9 steps stacked, so it is fine to have that. I might just leave it. So there's one place there. Another non-fitted machine gun company deploys in 1209. That's this one here, just comprising the same 3 platoons. Obviously, these officers were drawn randomly. I just didn't bother doing that off. I done it off camera. So we drew D, E. This guy is I, so he's the one with the machine gun company. So these are still infantry officers. If I flip that over, that's what it will tell us, infantry officer. However, this one here, I decided, because it talks about it being a heavy weapons, so I used a heavy weapons officer for that. So hopefully that's right. I don't know if it really makes a huge bit of difference. Does that mean, what are the huge differences between them? I mean, there's the infantry officer for them. So what is he? He's an 8-5. They're exactly the same. In fact, well, he's got a 0 leadership. He's got a leadership, and the other one does not. So anyway, that's yeah, I think I had that like that, didn't I? So yeah, and then the third, the machine gun equipped infantry company deploys in 813. So this is 813 here, and I have deployed them adjacent, because they've got the machine gun platoon as well. So they've got 3 infantry platoons and a machine gun, so they can't all stack in the one hex. And then for the heavy weapons, it says in the heavy weapons company in D915 and adjacent. So this is 915 here. So there's the mortar. You can see it fires artillery fire, and there's the 57mm M1AT anti-tank gun. Well, actually, that fires a white. That is anti-tank, isn't it? But it also fires artillery. You can see these don't fire the yellow, the anti-personnel fire. So they're slightly different. And then, well, this is just an unarmed machine gun, albeit it's a 6 strength machine gun, so it's much stronger than the other one. So it's obviously much better. So that's the setup. But you'll see that, I mean, these aren't adjacent to the road. These are all on the road. So I've placed them on the road. These 2, these can't be placed on the road because that's where they're meant to be deployed. They're on that other road, whether that's a road or a path or my terrain chart. Does that show it better there? Yeah, it's a trail, isn't it? There you go. There's the road that you can quite clearly see is sort of grey and a bit broader, a bit wider, and there's a trail, so they must be on trails, and there's the road. But this is on the road as well, so it's not adjacent to the road. So could it be that we've got to stay on the road to avoid this? And the thing is, these aren't adjacent to the road either. So as long as I move them onto the road, but maybe that's the thing, because these guys, the Germans, are going to start coming in here, and they're going to just make their way along here. I mean, it doesn't give any instructions on the SO side of that. I mean, the victory conditions are the German player must clean the main road from D800 to D817. Well, there's 800, and there's 817 right along the other end. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to move along the road. It doesn't need to stay on the road. It doesn't sort of say that. So they can move off it. But I mean, I'm curious about the German player must clean the main road, well, and take control of the bridges. And 901, where's all the bridges? There's the first one there. So I suppose these are objectives, if you like, but they're not objective. I'm not putting objective markers on them, but we'll need to mark that. I mean, by taking control of that, the Germans just need to move through that hex. They don't need to stay on it, they just need to move through it. So we've got 901, 1208, which is here, 1410, which is down here, and then finally 915, which is the one that these are in, I think. Yeah, they are. So they've got to take control of all of them to win. An American player will win if any of the above conditions are not met. And they also need to take control of the town in 804 and 805, which is where there's 804. Oh, it's along here. Yeah, that's 804 and 805 there. These two. Okay. Well, that's fine, but that's the last bit. American platoons positioned adjacent to the hexes along the main road may not fight, i.e. they must be marked as routed. Okay. I'm going to see, that's the main rules bit that I was reading about there, so I'm going to see what shows up on BGG, if there's any information, and also to try and find out about the main road victory points. So going back to that, it was for rush resistance calculations, count each bridge and town hex as 1 VP. That's fair enough. There's 4 bridges and 2 town hexes, so each one of them are worth 1 VP. So I'm assuming that. Well, here's the thing. Here, are they considered controlled by the Americans before the start of the scenario? I'm not sure of that one either. It looks to me. This one's going to be considered as controlled by the Americans because these are in the hex, but all the other bridges and towns hexes are not controlled by the Americans. This set of Americans here could probably control these 2 bridges, but I don't know if that takes victory points away or if it's just the Germans gain victory points by taking them. I'm not 100% clear on that as well. And then the final bit that I'm just not sure about, it says the main road counts as 2 victory points except for the already mentioned hexes. It kind of suggests that every hex of the main road counts as 2 victory points, but surely that's not right. The main road counts as 2 victory points except for the already mentioned hexes. So, kind of says that this counts for 1 because it's one of the bridges. This counts for 2. This counts for 2. This counts for 2. That seems like an awful lot, doesn't it? Right, let me see if I can find anything that maybe clears it up for me before we get started. Okay, there's 2 or 3 questions on BGG about this scenario and regarding the routed section part of this. Just reading it again, the American platoons positioned adjacent to the hexes along the main road may not fight, i.e. they must be marked as routed. See, this is under victory conditions. So I don't know if at all, if we ever become adjacent to this main road, I think it's at the end of the scenario that they become marked. There is one of the comments there is, I still don't quite grasp what all is. It says that the purpose of the scenario is for the Germans to come right along the road, clearing the road of all, taking the bridges and the towns, and clearing the road of all American units. And he says, so at the end of the scenario, there's no US units on the road, and any US units that are adjacent are marked routed. So I'm not sure if it's just until then. If I happen to have somebody here that's adjacent to this road, is it automatically marked routed? I don't really know, to be honest. And the guy has a setup. I think he has one platoon like adjacent here at the startup, and he's got this guy. He's got an image of it, and he's got this guy marked routed because he's adjacent to the road. I mean the reply to the question says that they wouldn't start routed for sure, but I still don't quite see it clear in the answer. Although I feel like it's there because the guy seems to get it. That if once we've started the game, if we have any units that are adjacent to this road, I mean, it is just in victory conditions. It's not, I mean, surely that would be in special rules, and what would be the reason for that? So, I think, I mean, if we've got a unit adjacent to this road at the end of the scenario, would that normally mean we control that road if we're adjacent to it? I mean, I don't think that's the case. I suppose the main rules might tell us. If that's the case, that would make sense. And then that would mean that anything that was adjacent to the road didn't control this hex. So control. Yeah, let me go and have a look. Right, I can't find anything about that. I mean, you control a hex if you're in that hex. So being adjacent to the road. Adjacent to the hex is on the main road. But the way it's worded, may not fight, i.e. they must be marked as routed. This is a victory condition, though. It's under victory conditions. You know what? I'm going to need help with this one, guys. So if anybody's got any comment on that, on how to explain that one to me, please do. The other one I can't find anything on. The other thing that was bothering me was the main road counts as 2 victory points, except for the already mentioned hexes. Does that mean every main road hex that they control, they get it gives them 2 victory points? Obviously, this is one of the other mentioned hexes, which would be 1 victory point. But does it mean that every one of these road hexes counts as 2, apart from the ones mentioned? So again, I'll leave that there if anybody wants to have a stab at that. That seems like an awful lot, but and I certainly don't want to be messing up my victory point situation when we start this game. Well, that'll not be until turn 2, so I've got a bit of time for that to kick in. But I'll leave it at that just now, or I'm just going to be here all night, like wondering what's what. Okay, so moving on. So we've got the German intel markers. Now, I had randomised these there as well. So we've got 3 infantry A's, we've got a mortar, and we've got an ATR A, right? That's all the ones that we needed in open mode. And you can see they're all accompanied by a motorised mechanised counter. I'm going to have a quick read about what that does. I mean, it enables it to move, because if we look up... Now, where does it tell us that again? Where does it give us the information? Is it that chart there? Yeah, it's this chart here. Yeah, so regarding, this is what tells us what these count for, isn't it? So we've got infantry A, they're small, so they're green regarding spotting them. And the morale is 8. So this is what it's counted as until they become a company and we identify them. Their AP fire is 21. The 2 in brackets is the range, so that's that. Points, that's for, I think, what's that one there? 4/13. I think that's for if you're creating a scenario. Oh no, sorry, it's movement points. What am I talking about? Sorry, that's the movement points and the movement type. So movement points, so it's 4, but it's got 13, so foot wheeled. So, but because they're motorised, mechanised, I think they're going to be able to get the 13 movement. Right? So we're travelling along the road with them, they've got 13 movement. So they've all got that. Now, when we eventually identify them, then my take on that is we find out what they are, and then Do they still keep that in motorised state? See, they're meant to be Panzer Grenadiers. But, see, come the time when we look on this, and we roll what 2 of them are infantry A's. This is the thing with us. They might not end up being Panzer Grenadiers. There's mechanised Panzer Grenadiers there for A. There. And then you've even got the third 3 times Waffen SS motorised there. But we could just as easily roll this or this, and these would be airborne and not be not have any mechanised, not have a truck or a half track or whatever it is. But it doesn't mention any of that in the rules. It doesn't sort of say that you don't use them. So if I roll on it and we get airborne, then that's what we're getting for them, I think. It's got truck in brackets. Yeah, I think that just means Panzer Grenadier motorised rather than Panzer Grenadier mechanised. Let me see if I can show that. Different example here. Hang on. Yeah, well, we showed them in the last scenario, actually. I mean, there's a Panzer Grenadier with the truck. I think that's the one that's meaning. And the reason we know it's got the truck is because it's in yellow, which means it's wheeled. And we turn it over, it's a truck. I think that's what that's the ones we'd be using. If we were using the historical, I think we would be using these. The other ones have got a better attack value, and that's Panzer Grenadiers. But these are the ones that are tracked. They've got the STKFZ, isn't it? So it's not them. And I think that's why the truck is in brackets to signify that. I would prefer it showing it motorised there, because that means mechanised, doesn't it? And the other one means motorised, I think. Yeah, well, like I say, working out what all these counters are, and it's just an awful lot. There's an awful lot going on. Right, okay. So yeah, well, I think it could end up that we could roll and not get mechanised units, and then they'd be on foot. My guess is they're going to bump into the Americans anyway, and they're going to be on foot to be able to really attack. Well, I think they can still attack. Well, no, maybe not. Maybe not on the truck side. I think the mechanised ones could, but motorised ones, I don't think they would be able to even attack until they dismount. So, but that's something new we're going to have to deal with as well, dismounting. Okay, right, and then was I going to move any of these? I don't think I will. I think I'll keep these as 9 steps. I mean, you get a negative for being 6 steps anyway. So unless I split them up 1, 1, and 1, there's no real point in me having the likes of that, unless I was to do the likes of that, maybe. But then, yeah, I mean, there's pluses and minuses. We might get to a position where the 3 of these are all adjacent, but this one can't see to attack to join the fire group. However, if they're all on the 1 hex, then there's not a problem with that. So we'd have 18 firepower here. So I think I will. I think the fact that these don't have a machine gun platoon with them, these 2, I'll keep these stacked together. This one has a machine gun platoon, so we've got to split up a little bit. And this has... well, actually, no, they could all be stacked together as well, couldn't they? Well, going on their movement points there, they've got a 2, they've got a 3. Now, hang on, that's... yeah, so it's 13. So like that way they'd be a 2, but if we mount them up, limber them or unlimber them, I always get muddled up with that. See, this doesn't have any on the back, but this can turn into a truck and they start moving a lot better. Imagine this one. No, that's a machine gun. No. So that doesn't as well. So it is only that one. I wonder if there's any benefit to us. Well, what that moves at a speed of 4 and that moves at a speed of 3. So wouldn't maybe be better maybe putting these two together and moving these together as a 3. And possibly mounting this up. Remember, we're not going to be able to benefit. I don't think we're going to be able to benefit from the 12 attack from this, because, well, hang on. Maybe. I can't remember what the T is as well. Does that mean tracked, maybe? No, it's not tracked, though, is it? It's wheeled, so it's not that. Well, I'll need to look at that. But we can have artillery fire. We can fire artillery, but the 12 would need to be against an armoured target. So, I don't think they're going to have any. I mean, they've got ATR. So I suppose something might come out of that this could attack with, possibly. Okay, right. Let's try and get things started, Grant. Right, so it's the Germans initiative. We've got a rush value set 4, showing the German initiative or the AI initiative. I'm just going to put that there. So that's going to last for it's the first 3 turns, isn't it? Americans are caught by surprise. Thus, the first 3 turns, the Allies are treated as green troops. So we need to remember that. That knocks us down, shifts us a column to the left on the attack on the combat results table, doesn't it? Okay, and American player deploys first. We've done that. German player is the attacker, and there's only one activating units during the first turn. Now, there was a question out there that can the Americans still react in the first turn, and the answer was given back as a yes, they can. You might think, well, how are they going to? But if you remember, if these have got 13 movement, these are all mobile, but remember, they might get high activity level markers and be able to move twice. So there is a chance they could probably get. I mean, 13 movement. Does that mean? I mean, are each one of these a 1 for that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I mean, that takes them right down to there. Well, maybe you should check the terrain thing, Grant. Although they've got 13 movement points. Yeah, to move on the open for a wheeled is actually 2, not 1. So wheeled and track. Sorry, hang on, we're on a road. Okay. So it's half a movement point? Something feels off there. I mean, that means they can move a total of 26 hexes down the road. Something's wrong there, I think. Hang on. A few other things causing me difficulty. I'm wondering about the word truck here. It's got truck, and the reason that came to mind is, well, I'll show you a bit in the rules at the moment. So just looking back at this is a historical mode for this. If we weren't using open mode for the Germans, we'd be using an officer, 3 times Panzer Grenadier, and then it's got truck in brackets. And then we've also got the 4-3 machine gun with truck in brackets. And I think I showed already that I thought that this, well, here would be the machine gun, 4-3, and on the back of it has got the truck right there. But why? And same for the 3 times the 3 platoons, Panzer Grenadier platoons. They're all the same. They've got mobilised in the back. Well, let's just get one back out. I showed these there well. So that's these and they've got the yellow box there to say that they've got a truck on the back, right? So is it that, or is this truck, does it actually mean a truck? And the reason that I started to think that maybe it does is because down in this one, not that one, yes, this one, it's got 1 times officer, 3 times Panzer Grenadier motorised. So that's what we just shown, the 3 times Panzer Grenadier motorised. So this doesn't have the truck in brackets. This is a different scenario, but why does this one just have Panzer Grenadier motorised and this has Panzer Grenadier and in brackets truck? So it kind of makes me think that maybe these don't have built-in mobility, but they can, a truck can, I don't know. Yeah. Well, let's look what I found in the rules. So this is Solo Rules, page 17, movement. And in particular, the third paragraph down there is what we're interested in. It says, an AI force with a motorised mechanised marker can move using wheeled/tracked movement instead of foot movement, right? If the movement is safe, right, full stop. And we've been told at the beginning of the scenario that all these come with a mechanised, that goes on top of that, and it moves with that, it can use that. Now, it tells us here a bit more. So it can move using wheeled. Well, it says motorised, mechanised, which is 13. It's 13 movement points, isn't it? That's what it gets for being motorised. Well, for being wheeled. Because these are infantry A's. So they can't be tracked. The only thing that can be tracked are tanks. In fact, if we look here, we'll see that there. That all these intel markers, that one's foot, that could be foot or tracked. Foot tracked, foot wheeled. Oh, so suppose they could be foot or tracked, so there is a chance of them being tracked. And then these two bottom ones are tanks, and then tank A. Sorry, that was for the Allies, that's for the Axis. But you can see the only one we could get tracked for the Germans is if it was a tank A. So that's only, and you can see that the movement for that is 9. Okay. But for us in this, the infantry A's are going to be 4, unless they're using wheel, 13. So they can use 13. And then what have we got? A mortar, which is 3, unless it's wheeled. But it's classed as wheeled, so that's 13 as well. And then the ATRA is 3 and 13 as well. So they can all use the 13. So coming back to this. Yeah. So if the movement is safe, so we've got to remember that it can move, but it's got to be safe. Intel markers don't need to do mount, dismount, or limber, unlimber operations. So we don't need to bother about all that carry on. These markers will be placed on the intel markers, like I've just said. These markers will be placed on the intel markers if the setup rules for historical scenarios specify so. And that's what they do. They specify that in open mode we get an infantry A, but also with a motorised, mechanised marker on it. If we're using the historical mode, it'd be this truck bit, which is the bit that's thrown me a little. And the truck bit doesn't matter at the moment, but it might come once we've identified the companies. So in point-based scenarios, we roll 1d6. Well, we're not doing a point-based scenario, so we don't need to read the rest of that. Yeah, so that's the rest of that. Now, what was it? It was on page 20. Yeah, this was on page 20, and this was an R. I'd just done a search for motorised, and this was an R bit that came up because I just talked about the fact that what happens to them once they're identified. It says here, but this coincides with the truck bit. So, any intel marker or motorised mechanised marker should be replaced by a compatible company. So, when it's identified, it should be replaced by a compatible company. And it's saying there, motorcycle, mechanised, or motorised company. or should be equipped with trucks, one per platoon for transportation, towing purposes if available. So I'm wondering if the truck bit there is indeed a reference to just having a truck. Now I don't know the truck markers. We got I seen them for the Americans, I think. I'm not sure if it's something I came across for the Germans, but let me have a little look. No, I can't find anything. I mean, all the trucks are on the back of the counter. They're built into the motorised and mechanised, motorised ones for the trucks. I thought I'd seen stuff for the Americans, but maybe that's me just telling stories. It might be these are landing crafts, aren't they? So that's not what I was looking for. Yeah, so I can't find a specific just truck. Yeah, well, I'm going to assume that we need to turn them into like Panzer Grenadier motorised companies. So it sort of defeats the fog of war purpose, because if it means I can't roll and get an airborne company, can I? Because then they're not motorised, unless I'm able to supply them with a truck. But I don't think there is such a thing. I don't think there is just counters that are just trucks. They're all in the back of counters. Okay, I'll leave that there as well then. Anybody out there that's willing to have a bash at answering any of these things that are stumbling me, then please feel free. Even if it's just an idea you've got, that would help, because that's all. I think I'm going to have a lot of moments still like this where I'm not sure about things. And as for going and asking the questions, again, unfortunately, I don't feel the support's there. And it puts you off bothering about it, Transport platoons. See, I was looking at that as well. You've got transport platoons and platoons with intrinsic transport. That's the ones that flip over to it. Transport platoons may be loaded. So you kind of feel like there's maybe just counters there that are just trucks, but I wasn't quite seeing that. Okay, right, let's try and get something started, or I'm going to end up with this part being a whole lot of nothing as well. Okay, so we can get started by carrying out the first parts of the sequence of play, at least. Now, we don't actually need to. The only thing we need to do is assign the activity level markers, don't we? Because they've not been done. Because the rush value has been set at 4. We know the initiative is the Germans. We also know the Americans aren't doing anything at all this turn, so they can't act at all this turn. Well, apart from react. For turn 1. And for the turns 1, 2, and 3, the Americans are going to be green. So we need to keep that in mind as well. Right. So as for not intel markers, the headquarters phase, basically. Because the command phase, everybody's obviously in command. Headquarter phase is when we check the rush value and get activity level markers. Well, we've got the rush. The activity level markers now fall into place. We get half of the 4 as high level. Where have I put them? Yeah. And a total of the 4 as medium level. So we've got 2 high level. And I managed to only find 1. So we've got 2 high level markers. Another one. And we get 4 mediums. What I'm going to do at first, though, I know I said I should give the whole 4. We should have the 4 there. Well, maybe I should start getting the habit of doing that. So 1, 2, 3, and we've got 1 extra. And you might say, well, what's the point in having the 1 extra? Which I thought at first. But if for some reason platoons go out of command, then you're going to need extra activity level markers And you can always have low activity level. If for some reason we get lots of companies, platoons breaking off and going out of command, and we need to use more than this, then you can always have any amount of low level activity markers. So, but there's no point in giving them out just now. So I said, well, I'll leave that extra one there then, and we can have that there, yeah. Right, so next phase would be initiative, but that's set already for us as well, start the scenario. So yeah, so we're good to go, I believe. So let's go. So it does state that during turn 1 we deploy on D800, it has to be one of the infantry A's. So we'll just use that top one. So that's the first thing that's going to happen. Okay, so this is going to be mechanized. Now, hold on. Yeah, this needs to stay with it as well, because it gets given the high activity level marker. There's no checking about priority here, because it states that one of the, well, to be honest, it's randomly between one of these 3 infantry A's, but it's going to come down to a roll of dice. So we'll just take that first one. It doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, I just randomly drew these. I know nothing about them. So then it's going to move, but I mean, I think it's getting 13 movement points. So now I looked at the guy that asked a question about the routed bit. He showed a setup of his start, but he was using a historical setup, so he was using the officers and the Panzer Grenadiers. So he didn't mount them up, he just moved them in normal movement. But he did point out that, they could get quite far and whatever, but these are going to be able to get, well, you know what, they're going to, what is safe movement again? We need to comprise with safe movement. Well, here's the other thing here, Grant. We've not looked at any instructions or whatever. So maybe you're jumping the gun here. I mean, it's going to come on here, but it's not just necessarily going to go away down this, follow this road, is it? I mean, the AI is maybe not going to do it as simple as that. So let us get the stuff to hand that we need regarding this. Give me a sec. Right, yeah, I think we still need to start with this, the K orders chart, to give this. We've selected the unit priority. We didn't need to check the priority list to find out. We've done that. So we've got our priority. It's high activity level. I'm not going to roll the dice until I've done the first action, because I think that's how it should be done. Don't think it makes a difference, but let's just stick by it that way and keep it going that way. Well, let's just see. Right, so it's offensive because we've got rush 4. We've got high activity, so it's in this section here. It's not up to 3 hexes from a player platoon. It is not in platoons are not in spotting range placed at greater than equal to 4 hexes. It's all with no line of sight. There's blockage and woods and stuff in the way. So it's out of spotting range, and these are intel markers. So out of spotting range intel markers, they're going to either do an assault or an advance. Okay, so I mean, do we need to roll on this? Do we need to look at assault? Well, I should roll on it. Let's just do it, because it clearly can't assault anything. But so this is a D10 roll, isn't it? So 1 to 4. Now, there's also modifiers, remember, that we're going to have to take into account now as well. But +1 for each hex with at least 2 non-routed player platoons located up to 3 hexes away. -1 for each hex with an intel marker, or at least 2 AI platoons located within 1 hex adjacent. And then if rush resistance is 2, we would get a +1. If it's 1, we get a +2. If it's greater than 6, we get a -2. So none of them apply. The only one that maybe could apply right now, but they're off board, so I'm not going to take this into account, because it would be -1 for each of them, I suppose. Because the intel markers could be suggested that they're all adjacent, so we'd get a -1 for each one, wouldn't we? for each hex with an intel marker. So I'm not going to count any of them. I think that's right. So a 1 to 4 is going to be assault. A 5 to 10 will be an advance. Here we go. Right, rolled a 6, so we're not going to find out anyway if that would have been a wasted roll. So it is going to be advance. So let's get that chart. Right, so it's just on the other side of that we used. So they're reminding us of safe movement requirements up the top there. So it says player may not react to AI movement, or player may react, but as long as it's a small reaction. Right now, I would suggest, I don't think we're going to get right the way down this road, because this is probably going to be able to react with possibly even when he reaches there. But you've got to remember that's going to be at range 4. It's going to be cut in half again for reaction. So it might not be. It might, but I don't think it's going to be able to reach this hex. But here's the thing. Can it not stop short? I don't know. Let's follow the chart and see if it's going to take us anywhere. So we're doing advanced movement. May attack with MFF without moving, no. May perform a safe assault, no. Select a target. Okay. So our target is the closest hex where the AI force may attack with MFF and divisible by 3, 4, 5, or divisible by 2 if it cannot be attacked with MFF or make a safe assault. In defensive mode, they will only move to blah blah blah. Right. So where is the closest hex where they can attack with MFF? Remembering that their firepower is, what did we say, 21. So MFF is going to be, it doesn't matter what terrain the Americans are in. So, because 10 is the highest one. That is needed 10. That's in a, what is it? Dispersed buildings area, which is a 5. Or is that a 4? That may be a 4, actually. Dispersed buildings are a 4. It's built up areas at 5. And when I say a 4, I'm still talking AP fire here. So that is a 4. So I don't think, it still needs 10. So even if it was to get to, if it's got 21, so that I can cut that in half. It's got a range of 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think the blockage is going to get in the way there. I don't know. Is that valid? Are we just crossing that one blockage? Well, hang on. He's got blockage on that side as well. So if I was in that hex there, well, actually, that looks like it only crosses. It does, doesn't it? It looks like it only crosses that blockage hex side, which Germans are going to be adjacent to. And then every other hex is clear. Well, there's a bridge there. Does that come in? Yeah. I wouldn't have thought so. Oh, yeah, well, bridge is there. Bridge. Oh, it does block line of sight. How about that? Block line of sight, yes, it does. So sorry, I was looking at other things there. Where's the fields? Yes, no. Yeah, so it does block line of sight, the bridge. So I think that means that we can't count on that. Yeah, because this is one of the games where you count the whole hex, and it's not the image of the bridge, which I kind of think some of the games do that. I think that's a bit much, but yeah. So we'd be firing from there to there. We would be crossing through this hex, so we wouldn't be able to. Well, in actual fact, he can't even be there on fire, can he? So his nearest, or his target hex is going to be here. What about the other American unit up there? Remember, we're talking closest hex. Well, I suppose we need to count from the starting hex, don't we? 800. So this is 1. Counting this as 1 because I think you do that. Or do you? When you come on a half hex. I want to say that it might actually just start on that hex. And then that's 1. Let's do that then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Not just following as a crow flies. 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So they're both the same there. And in actual fact, what is that? I mean that these are trails. But I mean, is that just? It's a minor river. It states that in the rules at the beginning. But what is? I mean, that doesn't look like a bridge, does it? It looks like a sort of. You can just tread. Oh, there we go. It's a ford. Minor river. It does not block line of sight. Okay. So it's quite possible that. Well, hold on. Target the closest hex where the AI forced me attack. Well, yeah, I suppose because the closest hex that you can attack this unit is here, isn't it? So not counting the first hex. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But I want to say that we could maybe be in there. Yeah, he would be adjacent to that bocage, be able to fire from there, right? 1, 2, 3 range away, which cuts his firepower down from 21 to 10 and a half rounded up to 11. And 11's still good enough. It could actually be 4 hexes away, possibly. So, yeah, but that would be coming through this bocage. Right, this hex actually would be... It's 8 hexes away from our starting to here or here. And these would both be able to attack with MFF from there. This is a field though, this is an open hex. So my guess is... if I've got the route, the shortest one to destination hex, depending on movement type, including as many hexes with block line of sight. I suppose both these hexes are the same, but surely it would get us to be trying to go. Yeah, why am I not finding advanced movement? Right, hang on. Yeah, so I knew it was in the rule, but I remember reading this before. If several hexes are available, choose the hex with the highest divisor value first. So that is, I think, going to be his target. So I've put all these away again. So what we need is, it's advanced movement, isn't it? There's one. There we go. So they're going to get marked for advanced movement. That's their order. Well, hang on. Yeah, we've got a target, but let's just target, yeah. Right, hang on. Yeah, so I think this would go here, right? That's where he's wanting to go. He's got advanced movement. He's found his target. I mean, the worrying thing here, I suppose, is they're meant to be moving along this road. The whole purpose is to move along the road. But that's not what it's asking. I mean, it's giving us advanced movement. It's wanting to look for the closest hex where the AI force may attack with MFF. So yeah, let's plod on with that and we'll see. So that's just got our target. So is safe movement available to that target hex? I don't think so. Because if we move into there, he can react with half firepower because he's no reaction marker, and half firepower again because it's out of range. It's more than its range of 2, but not greater than 4, double it. And these have got 18, so 18 half to 9. Oh, maybe that is all right. Half to 9, half to get into 4.5, rounded up to 5. So players may react, players may not react. Safe movement requirements: players may not react, or players may react with FF up to 6 in hexes with divisor 2 to 3. Well, that's a 3. Up to 6, yeah, he's going to be reacting with 5. So safe movement is available, is okay to that hex. Yeah, that is. Thing is, we've got to watch. We can't get to that hex by moving through this one, because then this one he's going to be able to fire it with 5. Oh no, that's a 2 anyway, so that needs to be up to 6 as well, so that's fine. Okay, so I think the answer is yes then. It can do it with safe movement. Safe movement, yes. So move to that hex. Okay. It didn't tell me at all that. I don't believe I can reach that hit. Well, you know what? I might actually be able to. So it talks here about the type of movement. Now we've got wheeled. Well, we've got an option in both, wheeled or foot. But it says type, wheel tracked movement. For safe movement, if the AI force will move more than by using foot movement. That's not reading very well, is it? Type. No, I had the rulebook open at that. Where's movement type? Yeah, in the rulebook, maybe better here. If more than one movement type may be selected, choose wheel track movement if that will make the AI force move further than the foot movement. Well, it certainly will. And that AI force cannot be attacked with MFF. Double time movement may only be used when the destination hex and movement route are out of the player's side's range and or line of sight. That's not. It's not going to apply. I mean, yeah, you can use double time movement with wheeled, but we are going to be moving into line of sight, aren't we? Yeah. Well, out of the player side's range and or line of sight. Well, no, we are going to be moving into his range and line of sight. He can actually fire on us. It's just he's not. Well, I'm saying he's not going to. That's up to us, I suppose. But it's allowed under safe movement rules because it's only a 5 rather than a 6. Right, movement route. Search for the shortest path towards the movement target's hex according to selected movement type. Including as many hexes with block player line of sight as possible. Avoid the following hexes. Any hex that may suffer an attack. Yeah, basically. So, well, let's see if we can just move to this then. And at least that's me done something. I'm at an hour and 10 minutes almost. Right, so if we're not counting the first hex, I should really get this right. Let me just see if I can find that. Right, I was about to give up looking for that, and then I had done a search. I thought off map, and that was a bit of a. And I found off map here. So it says here, this is, I don't know, this is on page 21 under scenarios in the main rulebook. That's the main rulebook, isn't it? Yeah. If platoons can enter the board from the side of the map, they may deploy on the half hexes. So I'm assuming that's where the first, is going to deploy in hex 800. The first hex entered will be any adjacent full hexes. The half hexes are otherwise not playable during the game, which suggests to me that moving him onto the half hex, it doesn't use up a movement point, I think. Platoons entering by a road line up off map behind the first platoon and count road movement points while moving up to the map. Yeah, that's got something to do while moving up to the map. See, I remember this in some other games. It kind of baffled me. I like stagger the movement of them as if they are. I mean, it makes some sense. Let's just say that this guy's, waiting to come on, but this guy's right behind him. This guy's right behind him, right behind him, right behind him. So it's as if when we go to move this guy, although, well, we're deploying him in here, so he's off map waiting behind him. But when he goes to move, like, let's say he's behind him, then to get him onto the map, it actually costs 1-2 movement points to get him to there. I don't know if that's the intention here or not. It's the way that words that. Platoons enter by a road, line up off map behind the first platoon and count road movement points while moving up to the map. Yeah, that is saying that, isn't it? So, in actual fact, we should have a row. I mean, to be honest, I don't know the priority who's going next though yet, but these should all be like this, and they count road movement. So if this is the fourth guy to go, then we've got to count 1, 2, 3, 4 as if he's going down road 4, which is only 2 movement points. So it's going to cost him 2 movement points to get to there. So, well, let me know what you think about that as well. But that does seem to be how it's written there. Okay, let's get this guy going. So can he reach that hex? Well, we're counting from there. We're starting from there. Remember, we're going down the road. So it's a half movement point. And I checked for the trails, it's 1 full movement point for wheeled. But it's half a movement point for on the road. So this would be a half 1, 1.5 2, 2.5 3, and then we go up the trail. That's 1 more, 4, 5, 6, and then right. So it's only 6 movement points to get to there for him. And then it's crossing Bocage. Will we be able to cross Bocage? Maybe not. No, it can't. Wheeled movement cannot cross Bocage. So after us selecting our target, we can't actually move to there. That was clever. So, well, where he could still end up there though. So can't we just change the target to there then? Because, I mean, remember this Bocage, this is a path through. Ooh. Yeah, surely the trail, there's a hole in the Bocage, isn't there? Because even the road comes through it here. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, because that would be impossible for them to come through there if we were counting these Bocage hex sites. Right, so this is up the trail, so I think it can move to here then. And it's got the same, the only difference being is it's in open terrain. But however, open terrains are just a 2, and it said that safe movement is allowed. Put it away. Oh no, it's under here, isn't it? Safe movement. Players may react with FF up to 6 hexes with divisor value 2 to 3. Sorry, up to 6 in hexes with divisor value 2 to 3. So this is the divisor value of 2, and he would only be able to react with a value of 5 because it's halved and halved again. 18 halved once is 9, halved again, 4.5 rounded up to 5. So, yeah, so it's fine. So I think we can do this. Let's just do it and get it done. So he can move all the way to there, gets to his target, that then comes off, and so does that. So they've done their thing. Now what we could do there is try and when he moves from here to here, because I think this is the first hex that we're able to see him. Yeah. So can we attempt to identify that? Let's firstly roll the dice. Now their morale level is, I wanted to say it was an 8, wasn't it? It's classed as an 8. There's no leadership value to be counted here. But the morale level roll is for to see if they get the extra action. So let's do that, because I'm going to have to wrap this up. It's an hour and 16 minutes already. So roll 2 dice. The morale level's 8, so 8 or less, and they're going to get a 2 actions marker. Oh, and they hit a 9. That's good. That's good for us. So they don't get 2 actions, which is nice. Now let us see if we can attempt to identify that. Give it a second. So the second possible way of identifying is during an AI side activation. When an intel marker is moving, player forces can try to react to those movements. At that time, you may try to identify the AI force, and if successful, your player force must react to the movement in that hex. Okay. Furthermore, AI forces identified automatically if they perform close assaults. Yeah, so if I do it, I'm going to have to react with only 5 fire factors. Firing into open hex, admittedly, but you sure you can see him from there? Is that not crossing the blockage there? No, I don't think it is it? I think maybe if I move these, sometimes the laser sort of doesn't really truly show it because it bumps into the counters, it lifts it up. So there to there, yeah, no, that's fine, isn't it? It's only crossing that corner of hex side of the blockage. It's not touching any of that. So I think that would have stopped it. But yeah, that's okay. So we'd be firing with 5, but crossing blockage, I don't think it's worth it. But I don't think it's worth it. Well, the thing is, we need to identify it first because we can't attack it, but then you're going to have 6. You're going to get the -1 for 6 steps. You're going to get the -1 for having automatic fire, but you're going to lose 1 for firing through blockage. But he isn't a 2 defensive, so we'd be at a -1 with a 5. And if we got a result of 4 on that means rolling a 5? A 5 on 2d6's mind. That would give us 2 hits. There's a chance we might not hit at all. Nah, I don't know, but I don't feel like it's worth it. Because it says that if we do identify it, we've got to react. Yeah, because we'd be better just opening fire on that next turn. Well, I've got to identify it first. But that's all I do. I do the identify, I roll the dice, and well, fingers crossed we get the dice roll. We might not. Or we use one of the platoons to do the recon mission and probably guarantee the identification. Yeah, something like that. Remember, also we're green. Yeah, so we get a shift to the left, don't we? 1 column shift to the left. So from the 5 column, that goes down to the 4 column. That makes it worse. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Okay, I'm going to call that apart, I think. I know it wasn't an awful lot of gameplay, and still don't feel awfully comfortable about how all that went as well. And of course, there's these questions regarding adjacent to the road, route aid. I mean, here's the other thing. They moved right down all these road hexes. Oh, actually, we took the village. I mean, do we need to mark these? I don't think so, but I mean, I suppose I technically should. You know, we've got control. We've took control of that, and the bridge, I suppose. Oh, he's going to be marked finished as well. Yeah, we were going to use cubes for that, weren't we? Well, let's just stick with the finished markers for now. Maybe I don't think I need to bother with these cubes on Nas, do I? He is finished because he's not getting 2 actions because we failed the morale check. Because the thing is, they control. Am I meant to count these? I don't know. Well, this one doesn't get counted. It says that it's not counted for game purposes. So it'd be one. This would be 1, 2 victory points. 2, 6. So that's 6, and then 7, 8, 9. That means they've just scored 9 victory points there. I don't know. That doesn't. Not so sure that feels right. But then why would it say 2 victory points apart from the hexes spoken about already, which are the villages and the bridges, the towns and the bridges? It kind of wins you. Kind of feels like you should be counting each one of these as 2 victory points. Right, more questions needing answered there if you want to have a go. Okay. Yeah, I'll get away for now with this. Don't think I will get back tonight, but I'm hoping to get some time tomorrow to get this move in. But yeah, even starting there, just I felt unsure about far too many things. It's not flowing very smoothly, is it? It's not really. Maybe you feel that all went right. That's what we done was exactly what should have been done. You know, I'm my concern a little bit again as previous where they ignored objective markers that this time their objective is to come down this road. Wouldn't it have been more sensible to come for this guy? That bridge was in the way. Yeah, that was the thing. To get an attack on the, well, yeah, well, remember, we can't cross the bocage. So we would have had to stick with the road. Yeah, for wheeled anyway. So yeah, we would have had to reach this hex. So that's why it went to there, because it was closer. But this is his objective, the road. But again, no mention of that being any concern at the moment anyway. Right, okay, get away for now, and yeah, I might get back up for a bit later on tonight, but it's unlikely. More than likely tomorrow. I'll have a fresh head on me as well. Okay, I'll be back when I'm back. Cheers.